Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew in a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Welcome in, everybody. Here we are again. We're the Weekly Joe. I am Paul Graham. I'm here with Drew Champlin. Wave to the crowd. Griff and Smith from our Texas Bureau. Roger Myers, are you at the Southern?
No,
office?
I'm in Tuscaloosa.
You're still Tuscaloosa, obviously, for games this week. Meghan Dennis manning down the Carolinas Bureau. And many thanks again to Christian Sykes for hosting us. Crimson Crossover, tune into them for a lot of great basketball content. They recorded tonight as well. Hopefully previewing the next week's games and not talking too much about what happened over the weekend with hoops. But we've got good news on our front because a great weekend to open the season after Joe. Alabama took on the Bradley Braves as expected. I think kind of cruised through the weekend right nicely. Thoughts on the weekend? Everybody have a good time. Griffin didn't make it. Obviously, Drew was there today, making a couple. Roger and I there the whole time. What you think, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't face an Elvis Dominguez coach team and expect to come out with an easy win. So, they gave us a lot of tough at bats, I thought. And we pitched a lot of guys kind of one inning each, except for the starters. So, hey, it was good to get a win. I mean, not every team in the state, in the SEC state, was able to sweep their series. So, don't really know how good they were. The one thing, we'll get into a lot more later, but I think we faced a lot better pitchers in our inner squads than we did against a lot of those bums we faced this weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
The one guy, Torres, hit a bomb off. They talked a lot. They think he hit like 92, 93. This is the one on Sunday. So, look forward to seeing what we can do against some really good competition this weekend.
Yeah, Griffin, thoughts from viewing from afar this weekend?
Yeah, it's it's kind of what you expect from an opening weekend. There's going to be some rough spots, but overall, it's you hit well, you pitch well, running the bases looked great this weekend. So a lot to build on with turning our attention to games tomorrow. So
Meghan, who did 20 hours in the car to and from to get there for a couple of the games. Good to see you. Things going well in Conway.
Things all good. We'll talk about our Friday opponent later on, but
there you go.
The weekend too. No, it was good to be back in the Joe and good to see that a lot of the things that we talked about, areas we need to pick up and improve from last year, noticeably, even in just weekend one, were there.
Exactly. You could see it almost from the jump. I mean, you could see it the way the team was formed. And then when you saw it in action, and obviously, Roger, you see him in action a lot more than we do. It kind of came to fruition, didn't it, today or this weekend?
Yes, it did. Things I've seen them be working on for since August, really. With base running and I mean the PFP, the pitching fielding was the fielding of the pitchers was very good.
Very good.
We didn't have to restart the counter for any throwaways.
And we picked a guy off. We picked a guy off and then threw one away. Yeah.
And as you noted and noticed during the games, they going to first to third or going from second to home. I mean, even like Hodo. I mean, just scooted around on a ball that we were basically station to station on last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing was we both mentioned during the games was, oh wow, that would have been in the gap last year, and it's an F8 or an F9 now. I mean, it's just noticeably different there, and I know we'll get into it, but Torres's soft hands at two different positions on the corners, and obviously LeBron. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's the franchise.
And pitching was pitched 19 guys, 15 of them didn't give up. 15 didn't give up an earned run.
Right.
And just overall, we saw saw a lot of really different, and another
Mhm.
thing you mentioned is like different slots, different,
Right.
you might have a 96 guy and then you might have an 88 guy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, which they don't get the opposition doesn't get locked in on one spot, one arm motion, one type
Yeah.
pitch or anything. So
Yeah. Drew,
overall, very
yeah.
good.
Drew, the Connor Ball, how you like to use the Connor Ball, come in, you got two lefties coming up, throw him with that slot and sweep away on a lefty. Twice we saw that. Very interesting, I thought.
The thing I liked about seeing Connor ball pitch was how excited he was to be out there. And you could really see that on watching it on TV on Friday. He was pitched a little bit, very little at all his true freshman year. He
Freshman.
threw him into some high leverage situations his second year. I'm not totally sure if he was ready for that yet.
No, probably
And
wasn't.
then last year, he wasn't on the team. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
He
I
was
don't know. I guess he
red shirt.
Red shirt.
yeah. So, they had no plans for him last year. Well, he comes back. Obviously, he looked really good against Bradley. So, got a guy who's in his fourth year of college. He's not as old as like some of those Auburn basketball players, but he's experienced. He's like a grown man now. So, I don't know what kind of role he's going to hold for sure, but he was really excited to be out there. So I
Yeah,
look forward
definitely.
to seeing, maybe what he can do for us this year.
Probably the classic case of a guy in college baseball today that 95% of the time is going to transfer out. If hey, that
or just go get his degree and move on and go be a banker or something like that.
And so it's great to have that on the team and have a few guys, that have been along for a while. I mean, I think we're going to get used to this every year, trying to relearn names and numbers and where this guy pitched and where this one was before, the JUCO and the college he pitched, and the 3 or 4 new guys you get in as freshmen. But I think it is a little refreshing to see that, to see him have some success out there. But I thought that was one of many, and even in the weekend, and you talk about 19 guys pitching. I think Riley Quick, we dedicate a whole segment to him, but I mean, best stuff on the team. I thought Riley, Zane Adams, although he got touched up a little bit in the first inning, got stronger as it went on.
Right.
1, 2, 3 is fourth inning. He could have, he showed you he's going to be able to go 6, 7 most nights on Friday, I think. But even a guy like Ariston Vesey, who threw to 2 batters last year, came in there, had a little bit of control issues, but probably had the third best stuff of anybody I saw out there over the weekend. Probably the third best fastball anyway, speed wise.
Right. It was just so, like, he got his first 2 guys.
Yeah.
And then maybe he had a borderline pitch that went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Walks one guy, gets the next guy 1-2. And Kent leaned over to me and said, "Man, this is so good for VZ. This is just perfect situation." Drills the guy in the back.
Yeah, on the 2-strike pitch. Yeah,
on the 2-strike pitch. The guy gets not hard contact, but a single, then a walk, and then it just kind of got off the rails. But
I wish they had stuck with him. But
the 2 quick first outs was a really good sign, and the 94-95 velo was really, really nice too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could build on it. Just if it had been a clean inning, he would have really, really built on it. But still, he's got to feel better.
Yeah, I saw 19 guys out there. I didn't see anyone that I thought, oh, well, this is, chuck him aside, maybe throw the 7th inning of the Alabama State.
There's no like charity pitchers that came in that say, oh, they got they're got to throw for their season.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that, but I feel like it's I feel like that bodes pretty well. And it's a small sample. You didn't see a lot of guys go deep, but with that many guys available to you, and obviously your roster is going to get trimmed down when you go on the road in some cases. If you've got the starters to get you in 5, 6 innings, and you don't need those guys to go real far.
Right.
You bring in Connor Ball to get that lefty and go to the next guy if you want to, So,
and then do the same thing with Tate, at some point.
Exactly.
Probably.
Exactly.
He looked good. The guy caught him for a long ball, but I mean, he was like an inning and a third and looked good too.
Right. So game 1, we win this one 10-6 on Friday. Beautiful day. I mean, it turned out, it was the best day weather-wise. The sun was out. Great crowd in right field. Shout out to the right field Ragers. even with as big of a weekend as was going on with basketball and you know and spring fever, it's great to see that crowd there on Friday. Obviously didn't have, it was too cold Sunday for anyone except the diehards, and then of course Saturday with the basketball game going on, the place was just a zoo. But great crowd, great representation by them Friday. We win 10-6. Like I mentioned, Zane Adams goes 4, gets touched up in the first inning. Probably the hardest. I mean, the home run got smoked, but that leadoff at bat, that's the one you're talking about, Roger. I mean, that first ball that got ripped into that gap and Fowler ran it down.
Yeah.
That's when we both kind of looked at each other and we're like, yep, this is what we signed up for. But he recovered nicely and walked a couple of guys, but he was just nipping, he's nipping around the corners. He wasn't, I don't think the control was bad, but there's just nerves and whatnot there. Just getting used to it. We saw 1, 2, 3, we threw 8 pitchers.
Yes.
That day. He was followed by JT Blackwood, who had a nice 1, 2, 3 inning in the 5th. JT's actually getting the start tomorrow, we learned hour or so ago. So he'll get the start in the Middle Tennessee game. Ball comes in. Tyler Fay did a great job of getting out of that jam. And in the what that'd be the 5th, the 6th, I guess. 7th, yeah.
7th.
And after struck out a guy on just a nasty breaker when he came in behind Connor. Got to see Zach Kittrell, got to see VZ Buchanan, and then Osmer closes it. Comes in to get that last out on a strikeout. We've known he's probably going to be our closer, but you hadn't really. You didn't know what he was going to bring. It's 90, 91 maybe, but it's a little bit Chase Lee there, right? Maybe you saw that frisbee. What'd you think of that? What you saw of Osmer in a brief 4 pitches?
Yeah, I mean, 4 pitches, not a big sample size to have too much yet, but like the stuff's there, the stuff's good, and it's what you want in a closure to be able to come in and get the guy out and send us home.
And if he didn't need to, but when he goes overhand, he's 94.
Exactly.
He's anywhere from 91 to 94, just depending on his slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pitchers walked 7 guys on Friday, which obviously you don't want that, but they recovered nicely the next couple of days. We 2 walks in each of the 2 games that followed. Let's talk about the offense on that day. What I was impressed with was we kind of thought that lineup that came out on Friday would be what they went with the first day. But I like the variations we did on Saturday and on Sunday. And it shows me that even though we've only got 16, maybe 17 position 17, that we've got some pieces that we can have some variety there. I tweeted about Torres and how I think, obviously you got to have that at bat in the lineup every day, but now I think you got to have that glove in there every day, one way or the other. Which is going to cause you to move your DH around, or it's going to cause someone to sit most of these days. But you might have a bat coming off the bench. Justin LeBron, Drew, your thoughts on the franchise?
I mean, you're not really worrying about a sophomore slump or anything like that. They said on TV that last year this was a guy who never really went through any slumps. I think this was Allen who compared Justin LeBron to Carlos Correa multiple times this weekend. And then our radio guy, Kurt Bloom, compared him to Tim Anderson. So they were really dropping the comps this weekend. I'd go like a Gary Templeton or a Dickie Thon or something like that. But, this is sure, I guess. Yeah, man, he was so good just hitting the ball, that 3-run double or was it double or the bases clear in the first game that put us ahead for good. And, just played a smooth shortstop and just looks really primed to have a monster season this year.
Yeah. And that was just Friday. And, and he did more over the weekend. I think he left the weekend batting, 650, 625, somewhat.
I got 625. I mean,
625.
5 for 8.
Yeah. We've got a viewer question about his the batting run he's going to have that we'll get to here before the end of the show. Up and down the order, you get 2 hits out of LeBron. Fowler's on base. He's drawing walks. Hodo, let's talk. I've got we got a viewer question on Hodo, and I'll talk about it then. While I didn't have a hit, it was on base. He's getting hit. He's drawing walks. He's running
A
up
lot
pitch
of pitches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Torres looks like he's going to be a pretty solid bat. You wonder when you get an SEC play, and of course your splits are gonna be a little different there, and if the scouting is going to pick up something on him. But all in all, impressed with him. Staten, I thought had a good weekend. I mean, the ball he launched over to the Hugh Culverhouse Junior School of Law was pretty impressive. One of the furthest hit balls I've seen out there in a while. Up and down the lineup, though, anybody that anyone you saw throughout the weekend up and down that lineup, you got something out of, you maybe didn't expect, Griff or Meghan, anything you saw that maybe surprised you?
I think Bull coming in Saturday and Sunday, getting the 2 home runs
Yeah.
was
Coleman Mizell for Hunter, if he's listening. Coleman Mizell.
yeah, but nice to see that, especially when he didn't get a lot of at-bats last year at all. And it's his sophomore year, time to see what he can produce. And I think he kind of proved there's not a lot of spots available, but give him the chance for right now.
Yeah. Tougher as a freshman, especially in SEC play, to get the opportunities, and you're probably going to see that with some of our freshmen this year. And then B, when you get the few that you get, to be, ready to go, because you're just not getting the reps. You got to get the reps before you get before you're good at it. And then if you're not getting the reps, you're going to be a little rusty. And so probably a little victim of that. You get 15, 20 at bats, but good to see a guy come off the bench the second day of the season and do what he did on both days. Home run in each of the 2 days. The second one on Sunday, it was that was just like Popeye. Popeye just wheeled that one out there. Oppo, just a straight up, what was it, 40 something degree launch angle.
Yeah. 300 and it went 330, I think. Yeah, I asked him after the game. I said, "You didn't think that one was gone, did you?" He said, "I thought it was foul," because he started back to the plate.
Yeah,
he ran a few steps and then came back, and it was like,
you can tell how strong a guy you're dealing with there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. To add on Mizell, last year, Rob said in a preseason or a podcast that he thought Mizell would be our 3-hole hitter next year. And I really do think that he could be that. And they have to keep giving him at bats, and he's got to keep getting extra base hits to force his way in there. Because you put him at the 3 spot, and you got, he's after LeBron and before Torres, and I don't know who ends up hitting 5th. Maybe Staten. I think he's probably a guy. Maybe Snell.
I think so.
Snell and Hodo didn't have the best weekends at the plate, but Mizell's really the guy to watch for me going forward, to see, because he's a scary looking dude. If you're a pitcher, he's a big guy, and he can hit it a long way. So I've always just thought this is a guy who needs a lot of at bats in a row and not just pinch hits.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Hopefully he can keep hitting. Go in, get a couple home runs this midweek. And I know it's asking a lot to hit a home run against because it's tough to do, but just get some solid hits. He had a grounder in that first at bat Saturday. It was a scorcher.
That might be the hardest ball he hit all week.
Yeah, he's a guy we really need to have in the lineup every day. I think. I know we've got 10 or 11 guys, but I think he's one who needs to be in the lineup every day.
And Rob is liking the speed and the different ways this year, but he likes the power too.
He wants some gappers. Yeah. Griff, other newcomers. We haven't mentioned Brady Neal behind the plate. Richie Bonamala, center. Brendan Norton, guys you saw that impressed you over the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say I did not. I said LeBron, but I know some folks said Norton would hit the first homer. Sure enough, he got that on Friday. Staten looked good, I thought, in his few at bats. And then you even had some youngsters like Peyton Steele. You had Johnson Jr. getting their first slugs. And to your point, they may not be seeing, who knows? Lineups can change, and knocking on my wooden desk that everything stays healthy. But you just know how many opportunities the young guys will get. So for them to get it, whether it's against Bradley or maybe this weekend, you just let them get as many reps as possible, because you never know when that number will be called and
when it get called,
show up. And I thought first weekend of D1 ball, it looked pretty good for him. So
Yeah.
lots
No, I
to
agree.
improve on.
No.
And one great thing, Paul, is there's so much versatility with. I mean,
Mhm.
there's guys that can go different places. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
Torres first or third, JYJ anywhere in infield.
Second, short, third.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to be careful with the catchers since there's only two, but
Right.
they had considered playing Brady Nielsen at second base.
Yeah.
And maybe the outfield,
Uh-huh.
prior to Luke Vaughn's injury. And then
Probably don't need it, right?
right. I mean, Plattner can play the outfield. He's played some first base. Griggs, Mondano have played first and third.
Yeah.
They did put Griggs in the outfield, which is kind of a new thing for him.
Right. LeBron in center.
Yeah, that's right. We're pushing for that one. Take the best shortstop in the country and put him in center
Probably
field.
the best center fielder.
Be the best center fielder in the country. But yeah, it's just we got some a lot of opportunities to make a lot of changes without hurting yourself too bad.
Yeah.
Staten second and third, Norton second and third. I mean, there's just a lot of guys that can. We didn't necessarily have that last year.
Right. The defense in the outfield. I mean, again, you got Richie Bonamalo in center, Bryce Fowler in right. Both those guys are center fielders. I mean, you just look at them play. It's like they're center fielders. So having two center fielders out there, I mean, you're basically it's almost like Pat Surtain locking down one corner of the field in football. It's like, I mean, you just whatever you hit out there, whatever you hit from about left center to the foul line and right, is dead zone. And so I think that's a big advantage for you. And we've talked about that. It's back to the days of having Pink and Wright and Caden Rose in center, or something of the like.
Just don't have a Tommy Seidel in left, but
left. That's right. Yeah,
but left. Right. I mean, we can cheat, and you even said this that you can cheat a little bit more closer to the line because between Richie and Brian, they can cover that other.
They cover it. Yeah,
and and I think LeBron had a flashback to last season when he went out and got that ball, and he and Richie almost
that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, because Richie was there. I mean, that he pretty much had to catch that ball last year.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then that Richie was there, and I don't think it might have kind of surprised him.
Richie's a solid dude too. I mean, I don't think I want to take a hit. Yeah,
he's thick.
Yeah, I don't think I want to take one head on from him in a situation like that. But yeah, definitely like what I saw defensively. We booted the ball a couple of times on Saturday. Just little things, but nothing that really killed us in a 19-3 game, obviously. So let's get to Saturday. Who goes first on Riley Quick here? Megan, you were there. What was your how sight for sore eyes, right?
I mean, completely. Like, I think all down the road we were waiting for him to hit 100 on the gun, but it was just like consistent. It was good. He looks good, and it's good to see him finally be back. And you can tell that like he was pumped, but it didn't play too big. Like the moment of finally getting returned, didn't. I don't know. He did his job. He did his job well.
It's obvious from watching that guy. He busted his ass in rehab and recovery and working to get back. Just willed his way back. Drew, you talked to his dad, I'm sure. I talked to him a good bit over the weekend.
Yeah. First people I saw when I went to the home plate club on Saturday, that was the only game I went to, were his parents. And so I was asking if they were nervous. And Mrs. Quick was extremely nervous. And Mr. Quick was just like, just ready, just excited for him. So that's kind of how it is. Usually the mom's nervous and the dad's like, I've seen seen a zillion baseball games where my kids played. But I think and his older brother Pierce was down there too. So just really excited for the family, just, because you think about it, when you have the Tommy John surgery, sometimes people have them twice, but like I know like Bueller, I think, and maybe DeGrom, I guess, but you think he's going to be good to go for several years, if not hopefully his whole career. But that surgery's behind him. I wish he was ready to go 7 or 8 against NC State on Saturday, because that's going to be the best team we see this weekend. But just looking forward to seeing what he can do there. Knowing that whatever he does this weekend, heck, it's just going to be getting them ready for it. But legit 1-2 with Zane and Riley. Zane wasn't. I didn't think he was that sharp on
He was,
Friday.
yeah. He's
Didn't
okay.
strike anybody out, but it was cold.
Yeah.
He's going to be a lot better in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just excited. We've got a legit 1-2 pitch in punch in the SEC this year with those two guys.
We didn't talk about it when we talked. We kind of glossed over Zane a little bit. I mean, it's kind of taking him for granted a little bit, maybe. We talked some in the preseason. I remember we did one of these fall shows about how he's developed the changeup. He leaned a little heavier on the breaking ball and the changeups, I thought, on Friday.
Yeah.
And of all the just watching Riley and Roger, you were sending us the stats when he was that last preseason scrimmage, and he's hit 97, 98, and 99, 99, 99. He was like that other day. He was top. He was typically 97 or 8, and then hit 99 a couple of times. But the breaking stuff really impressed me when he threw that cutter and just kind of swept it across against a righty. I mean, it just wasn't fair.
Right. And Riley deserved that. I mean, they deserve that so much. Like, he gets hurt, goes out. The parents never miss coming to a game, going to a road game. Riley's right there on top. I mean, Riley, he did it this weekend too. But
this weekend, he was still the first guy out.
He saved us a game last year when was it the LSU runner missed the base, and we got. I mean, he was the only one that saw it. Yeah. And he caught something either Friday or Sunday, probably Sunday. That he was pointing out, but he never, he didn't hold his head down. He didn't. Poor pitiful me. He went and worked his ass off, and was the ultimate teammate.
Yeah.
And battled his way back. And then back to Zane real quick. From what the velo we saw all fall and spring was down. I don't know if it was the colder weather or just. I talked to Coach Mo yesterday for a few minutes, and he said that, his little rocking thing that he does.
Yeah.
He had to change that because
he's tipping.
Mike said the thing he was doing is illegal now. Like it's a balk. The thing he was originally doing.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to work through mechanically something a little bit different. And he's still, once and like we said, the second, third, and fourth innings, he had it down. He just wasn't missing bats. Those were pesky. They fouled a lot. They fouled a lot of 96 to 98 mile an hour fastballs off, even off of Riley.
I mean, they hit one on the top of the fence off of Riley. We thought it was originally ruled a home run.
Which how in the world? There's no way that ball goes out. There's nothing out there unless it would have had to hit the playground.
Hit a kid on the head or something.
Right.
Griff, you saw him. I mean, they took him out 3 innings, 50 pitches, obviously on the count. Still had a lot in the tank, definitely, and struck out 4, didn't walk anyone. I think the thing that impresses me the most is he gives up. Is just the number of ground outs. He's got a heavy downhill ball. What were your thoughts on Robert?
He's definitely forcing guys to take the best pitch that he gives you, and most of those times it is going to be down, and they'll be playing it right into LeBron or somebody in the infield, and that definitely plays into his strengths. And I didn't expect him to. Would I've loved him to go 4 or 5, sure, but I mean, I think it's either gotten, Roger, you may know more than I do. It's either like the 17th, 18th, or 19th of February of last year was when he had his Tommy John.
Exactly.
It was
almost a year ago.
Less than a year out from when he had the procedure.
He was like one day from being in exactly a year, I believe.
So I think just to that point, to what you said, Paul, as far as working his ass off in rehab, that was impressive. I think we all saw the different points. I saw him here in Frisco last year where he was the consummate teammate. He was, like you guys said, top of the dugout every single time. He was yelling more than almost anybody. So yeah, I was thrilled to see it for him. And just kind of keep working his way back. I don't need him to rush by any stretch, but it's good to see him back, and hopefully we get a little bit more this weekend and just inch our way as we get closer to league play.
He was followed on Saturday by Hagan Banks, who was also coming back from a major surgery. Suffered an injury in the Georgia game last year. Hagan maybe ran out of gas a little bit. I mean, I think he's probably a little bit less further along and got in a little trouble in that outing, but had really good first inning. and then a little bit rocky in the second. Tate Robertson came on in relief of him. We got to see Matty Ice, Heiberger, there for an inning. Aiden Finateri, this one interested me because I don't think he threw a lot, or maybe didn't throw hardly at all in the fall. Maybe he's still getting his way back.
Yeah.
And velo's probably down from what it was, but I mean, this guy threw a lot of innings at Georgia Tech in the ACC. I mean, saw facing pretty good teams, and I think we'll figure into plans at some point. But it feels like he's got to work his arm into shape a little bit. Got a little bit way to go, and maybe the most exciting inning was the last inning with Anthony.
My guy Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony got out there and with a shutdown in it, and his sister was back there behind us and was pumped. Boy, she was excited. She's a student, been in Alabama a couple of years. But that was really good to see. Got to see, it's always fun in a game like this. You get to see all these guys make their debut. Griggs, JoJo Williamson made a hell of a play at second base.
He did.
You get to see Peyton Steele get his first hit. JYJ, John Young Jr. Gets his first hit. Madonio's out there. Plattner played. I thought the catchers were adequate. I mean, we didn't throw anyone out stealing or anything, but I mean, it's not like people were running around the bases on this. But I thought they handled the pitching staff pretty well, considering we threw 19 guys out there. It's not. That's never easy on the catcher. So good to see that day. And frankly, I was glad we were not playing. We got cut a little short on Sunday for curfew for travel. These guys, I guess, had to get on a bus and go back to Peoria, Illinois, which is probably no fun.
It's about as far as Meghan had to go, but up in the worst weather.
I've been to Peoria. There's nothing to do there. So they got to go all the way back.
Well, I mean, they had to go home and get ready for their trip to Siena this weekend.
To Siena,
they were showing their schedule, and man, it's just like the first 5 weeks on the road. It's brutal.
Yeah,
I think Siena is this weekend. I could be wrong.
Peoria, the hometown of Richard Pryor.
First home game for Bradley. Their first home game is going to be on March 28th. So they're on the road literally, almost 6 weeks. Tough. I mean, obviously 13-37 last year, the 6-21 in the Missouri Valley. But, that's what you got. If you're in Peoria, you got to go play somewhere. They do get one trip. I think they're going down to Boca. Maybe they're playing FAU, I think I saw. So they're getting at least a fun trip out of that. But those games are always fun to get to see. But I'm glad we went 9 to get a couple more guys, get some reps, get some more bats.
Rob said that's why they specifically did it.
Yeah.
And then I agreed to the 10-run for Sunday, which
didn't
materialize,
sense.
But we did cut it a half inning.
Yeah.
Well, I guess an inning short. They went through the 8th and said, well, we got
called it. I think they weren't going to start another inning after 4, and that's kind of what happened there.
If I can say, last year I was in Las Vegas visiting a friend, and had a chance to go see Bradley baseball play last year at UNLV. UNLV beat them 10-0. Roger's been to UNLV's baseball field. There's like 20 people there, and UNLV had 3 homers. It was just a totally different atmosphere. Of course, I had a little few beverages before I was there on a Sunday at 11 a.m. But they didn't have very many of the same guys. Durbin was on the lineup last year. Timmy O'Brien hit third, but I don't recognize any of these other names. So Jack Stellano was their pitcher. I'm not sure if he was on their team. I don't know, but so they revamped their whole roster. Hopefully they'll be good. I'm sure they'll be better than they were last year, but
not a bad looking hitting team. I thought it's just like you said, you just didn't, these guys are throwing 84 to 88. You're going to get an SEC play where everyone's throwing 94 to 98. So it's good to see this to start with.
Guy behind me mentioned that how and not Tommy Moore, my friend, mentioned how what a short team. Short in stature that team was, and it wasn't like the Nortons 5'9", 190. They had some guys, some muscular, but there was a lot of just small guys.
Looking at their roster, seeing how they played us this weekend, I think that they will have their hands full in the Missouri Valley. I mean, Indiana State's probably, if I had to make a bet in Vegas, I'd probably say they're going to win the conference. But, we'll see how they shake. I mean, I'm not going to follow them closely, but they've got, Illinois, Chicago, they'll have Belmont, they'll have Missouri State, they'll, kind of the regular foes. But, best of luck to them.
Right. Yeah. So we get to Sunday. We win that one 11-4. We get a good start from Bobby Alcock, who we had not seen last year. It was the mystery here. What's wrong with Bobby? Well, Bobby was hurt last year, obviously. Transferred in from Gardner Webb, and but finally gets his first outing. I thought 60 pitches, pretty adequate. Didn't walk a guy. I mean, that's kind of the theme of the weekend from some of these guys. Gave up 3 hits, didn't get pitched around it. I thought did a really good job. Gave up a run. It was unearned. I can't remember if that was that infield error or
there was that second base error at second.
And he gets followed by Austin Morris. And Austin had a day a little bit like VZ where he was cruising along and then something went wrong and got the outing a little bit sideways for him. But good to get your first experience out there. We've seen Austin. We've seen what he can do, and I think not worry about him. Bo Bryans, let's talk about him. That's a new arm on the team. We thought probably would be maybe be a midweek starter in some cases through 27 pitches Sunday. So I don't know if you bring him back, maybe bring him back for a brief stint. One of these two coming up. What do you think of? You've seen a lot of him, Roger.
Yeah, we were worried in the fall about throwing strikes, and we commented on how well he kept the ball in the strike zone this fall.
Exactly.
With all that move. I mean, with that crazy movement. I mean, it tells in or out, and then
he's got 4 seam, he's got 2 seam, he's got movement.
And then during the January he kind of lost that a little bit, which was kind of his in JUCO he had some issues walking guys, but he didn't walk anybody on Sunday and gave up a couple of hits and an unearned run.
Right.
So and struck out a couple, and we've seen his velo be higher than it was. Cold day.
Cold's going to do that. Yeah. That's a rough day.
He was maybe a 1 or couple of miles an hour down from what we saw, at his best, maybe like, at 92, but we've seen him up to close to 94, 95.
Right.
So like you said, that'll come with,
I think so.
Come with warmer weather. And, but I think he's going to be a big piece, just throw strikes. He's going to really help. And we've seen him be pretty high rated on some of the draft boards.
Definitely got a live arm, and that movement. You see a lot of guys with high velo but don't have the movement. I mean, that's going to be making him very unique, and I think these scouts are picking up on that. We talked about Connor Ball and coming in again. I think he was the only guy that came in twice over the weekend. Braylon Myers.
Right.
Braylon threw an inning, and we've seen Braylon make some pretty good strides as velo's up a little bit. It wasn't as evident the other day, but you could definitely have been seeing it. Again, the cold probably affected that. Good to see Packy Bradley Cooney come in and get an out there at the end of the game, a strikeout.
Got to have Packy Bradley Cooney pitching against a team named Bradley.
Yeah,
I still see 44 and think Zane Denton. It's kind of hard. It's still very difficult for me.
Packy and Oz both got their 4 pitches in for the 4 pitch strikeouts in for the weekend.
Yeah, Griffin, can you think of another player whose surname matched the team he pitched against in the history of Alabama baseball?
Oh wow.
Oh.
Is that a Barry Allen question?
I think that would be, or our compatriot
pro updates
out here, Hunter Johnson, who was the the SID kid, and I think what was it, 95, 96. He may know somebody in the animal.
Think about that. Yeah,
I'll think about it.
Yeah, you got to think of teams that are named Bradley and stuff like that. I mean, gosh,
no one named Manhattan that I know of.
They're Stetson or something like that.
I've got when we get to a spot that I talked to Stephen Rosen that Manhattan played
Mississippi
State this weekend. Just what he told me about Mississippi State's pitching. I mean, if now's a good time, I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So they hung with them on Sunday. I think it was 5-1. It was 3-1 late. They lost 5-1. other two weren't so good. But Stephen said,
Yeah, tell him who Stephen is, because
Stephen Rosen was a former assistant at Alabama.
Yeah.
And he left in December of 22, went to Manhattan to become the pitching coach that spring. And then the off season, the head coach left, and they elevated Stephen to the head coach. So he was head coach last year, and this is his second year as head coach. And Alabama opened the season with them last year in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
So great guy, just a baseball guy. And they were on a bus trip headed somewhere out, like they're going to stay in the South for like for a while. So they're headed for midweek and weekend and weekend series.
They're actually heading to Southern Miss. They're playing them in a midweek this week.
Yeah.
So.
Paul, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay, I've got the little stick person for you.
Sorry.
Let me.
My bad.
Oh,
my bad. That's
and
my
then
bad.
So anyway, and the pitching coach at States, baseball is a small world, but the pitching coach there is a friend of his, and he said that Patrick, I think is his name, told Stephen that is the best collection of pitchers he had ever had, and Stephen said that everybody that came out there was 96 to 98. He said the 22nd and 23rd guys on the roster that they didn't even have on their scouting report were pumping 98 on Sunday. So he's talking 23 guys with 95 plus.
And that's
and not just
like
velo,
Arkansas.
but actually, it sounded like that.
Yeah.
Their offense doesn't look like much right now.
No.
I mean, looking at their lineup, I thought, somebody's either, they're going to explode or they're just kind of mediocre there. But I mean, that if those guys, continue to be as good as he said they look this weekend, they're going to be tough on the mound.
I think, I kind of feel like, and we've talked about this in this venue or in spaces and in the past, there've been years where, some key pitchers got injured in the league and all of a sudden it was kind of a little more of a hitter's league. You didn't have the pitching. Meghan, you think I'm wrong here? I think this is a pitcher's league this year. I really feel like it.
I would echo that. I think we're going to see that up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you look and the three guys Oklahoma threw over the weekend are all 98 mile an hour fireballers. Arkansas, I mean, 4 games over the weekend just plowed through.
Looking at our schedule, just some of the teams that I saw this weekend, LSU's got some ridiculous arms. A&M's going to have, Florida's going to have ridiculous. It seems like that. I mean, if last year was Tennessee's year and A&M's year to just blow the ball out of the yard, every other at bat, I think the pitchers may regain some of that this year. I mean, they were
You don't have you don't have Caglianone anymore. You don't have Tommy Tanks. You don't have you up and down the league. I mean,
no Dylan Cruz to whack it out of the yard, and
Gage Miller, Condon, guys like that. I mean, I think it's going to be a pitchers league this year, and then that's probably kind of an every other year thing, but maybe a little more so emphasized or highlighted this year. Speaking of knocking it around before we get off the weekend here, the day that Jason Torres had on Sunday.
Nice.
A pleasant surprise, I guess, after the fall, and we were probably concerned that he was coming off shoulder surgery or some sort of surgery, just but the bat wasn't looking very good. It feels like he's come around.
Yeah, definitely. And I told you guys, like in January when they came back, it was noticeably different the way the ball was sounding and coming off the bat compared to the fall. And it was a elbow surgery. I think
elbow.
And and he missed the last 6-8 weeks of the season, so he hadn't played ball in 9-10 months, in a long time. And then he told me a few days ago, or like before the season started, that he had a little something funny going with the toe tap. His timing was off. And had he not hit 330 with 9 bombs and in half a season down in Miami, I would, in the ACC, which is a heck of a baseball
tough conference.
I
Yeah.
would I would have been a little more concerned, but
Mhm.
it's like, okay, he's gonna get it. And
Yeah.
they saw, the coaches saw strides, whether it was in the indoor or off the tee or whatever, they saw
Mhm.
strides that he was getting it together. And
Yeah.
boy, he's an RBI machine right now. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
in-
Yeah, Drew. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Torres to me, I think he impressed me with the bat, just coming around to that soon. But the glove to me was the other thing.
Yeah, I
I
think I
tweeted
think
about it a little bit.
we brought
Oh,
him in to play in the field a lot, so
yeah,
he's going to do that. I'd be surprised if he ever DHs, just
yeah,
because
I would too.
I think
Yeah,
he's one of the best infielders we have. But he just got clutch hits. It's that first inning against Bradley on Friday, they hit the 3-run home run, and everybody. I got back on that Discord app that Christian
yeah.
created, and
oh God,
my intelligence just lowered, like, just
my,
you would not believe.
I was gonna say I've never gotten on there, so I'm glad.
Don't
don't
Thanks for that,
my
Drew.
I immediately
my
deleted the
my
app.
IQ
I'm
goes
never
down
getting
10
back on
points
again.
every time I
It's
go on
the
there.
sure there are a bunch of nice husbands and fathers on there that sure didn't seem like it. Anyways, I think it was a 2-out hit that he got. We really needed to
Uh,
answer with something.
Mhm.
on Friday.
Yeah, I believe because Hodo struck out.
Yeah, yeah. Fowler flew out. Bronny
Yeah,
walked, went to second on the ball in the dirt.
Yeah,
Hodo
so we
strikes
needed.
out, and Torres up the middle.
Yep, kind of just over the second baseman's head.
I
I
mean,
mean, I was
over. Yeah,
watching on TV,
yeah,
but it's like you can't just you're not going to hit a 3-run home run to lead off the inning, so you just kind of have to get something back. And then if you
sure.
don't get something back, it's like, okay, now that you start to press a little bit. So
Yeah,
he impressed me with just clutch hitting and just a solid glove. And I don't know if he's going to be a guy who hits 350 with 8 home runs or 320 with 15 home runs. Hopefully
Mhm.
somewhere in between. But really, really hoping he can have a big season for us. I think we're going to need him to
Yeah, I
for us
think
to have a
so.
big
yeah.
year.
That
Mhm.
burst of speed for that triple too
Yeah.
was
Oh yeah,
really
I mean, I
yeah.
impressive.
wasn't there,
Some
but
wheels,
it was
some
impressive.
wheels.
Man, I mean, stand
Yeah,
up. But God, he
uh,
crushed that ball, didn't he,
he
Paul?
did. Yeah, he smoked it. Yeah, he hit that thing. I mean that. So between those two balls he hit that one right to the 360-ish mark. I think his home run was 404. So I mean, he hit his two at bats that in a row. He hit about 700, 760, 770 feet of balls on two at bats. Running team speed. Speed kills it, and it's funny because we talked about it last year. It's like you just had a sense that Rob was probably more of a, hey, I'd like to be a little more station, be a little more aggressive on the base path.
Right.
You saw it a little bit early in the season last year, but we were kind of dumb about it and kind of boneheaded about it, and it just didn't fit what we were doing. But you just knew, and you could tell by the way he built this team that it was going to be more around speed. This team ran, swiped 6 bags. We got thrown out a couple of times, but hey, a lot of station to station. Like we mentioned, first to third is first to third. Is you don't go first to third. That's like taking a mid range jumper in a Nate Oates offense, right? It's
Right. Right.
feels like that's the case here. What how do y'all feel about the kind of that transition for this team?
Well, we had 6 with none of them by Richie too. Three by Bryce and 3 by Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
And Richie was on base 8 times, 3 hits
That's a bunch. Yeah.
and 5 walks. But there
Mhm.
was somebody in front of him almost every time.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Megan and I last year in the fall we were watching them, and they were doing the first to third.
Yeah.
Like real consistently. But then
Right.
once the game started, that really didn't happen.
It did.
But
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't built for it like this group is.
Yeah.
I mean, you
It
got
feels.
legit.
Yeah.
You legitimately got 4 or 5 guys in there at all times that can
Mhm.
that can
Feels like
run.
a lot of guys with the green light, maybe Drew. Kind of like guys with the green light 3-0. A lot of guys maybe green light to go.
Yeah, that and it seems like you said earlier, to kind of take that extra base.
Mhm.
Hodo. The thing that really surprised me, a couple of things jumped out at me. I mean, obviously, you don't. He would like to have. I think he had a lot of at bats he really wishes to have back. He swung at some bad pitches to strike
Sure.
out, but when he got on base, which he did get on base several times or a
Mhm.
few times this weekend, he was going first to third. He was taking that extra base. He kind of showed us a little bit of wheels that
Right.
we may not have thought he had. So he certainly made himself valuable, even if he struggled with the bat. But he even made a nice stab on a ball I think that Torres may have thrown.
Yeah.
I think
Good
guys are,
scoop.
the guys look slimmer. The guys, I think we're going to have a pretty fast athletic team. I know I've harped on this before, but I think we're going to look a bit like Kentucky did last year. I'm not saying we're going to finish number 2 in the country, but that's kind of who we are and maybe what we need to do if we're not going to be spending the $500,000 on all those guys like Texas A&M is. Just get guys like that.
Yeah. Example, and I tweeted about this in kind of game recap or during the game and had it in there. Double steal in the third inning yesterday. LeBron was on, I think, the front end of that. So we double steal with no out. So we get second and third. We got
Fowler in front, LeBron
Fowler in front. Okay, Fowler and Bronny. We got 3, 4, 5 guys out. So, you're in a position. It's like, hey, we can get a big inning here, right? I mean, now you got 2 guys in scoring position. 3, 4, and 5 guys kind of underachieved there, right? Because
Torres drove in the 2.
Yeah, right. But we so we go strikeout, ground out, fly out, but the ground out produces a run because we had double steal. We had the guy third, we had advanced them, and so it's just little things like that. I mean, that doesn't matter in a game. You're beating Bradley 11-4, but when it's 3-2 against LSU, and you've got to just hold on for dear life. It's that sort of thing's gonna make a difference. And Bronny had a steal. I mean, he had third swipe clean, and Hodo's protected him, fouled one off. I mean, so I think we had a couple of
get to be
exactly
in that opportunity where last year it feels like, okay, somebody's going to run and hold on for dear life if we make it. I didn't always feel confident that we were going to get it. This year, speed is very evident on the base paths, and then obviously Bryce and Richie are 2 guys that they've got speed for days in the outfield. Like you said, they can cover so much. So it translates, which is a huge plus.
Team drew a lot of walks. I mean, team got hit a lot. They drew a lot of walks. We're getting on base in different ways, so that's going to give you opportunities to think, steal bases. You can't steal first, but you can steal it with a walk or getting hit. So I thought that was good. I thought the patience of the batters was good. There weren't a lot of bad strikeouts. Guys chasing bad pitches. I mean, a lot of guys went down swinging. I think we need to cut down. A couple guys got to cut down on them, I think, or they'll probably get dropped a spot or 2 in the order. But it feels like there's going to be, it doesn't feel like there's a weak spot in the order. It's not like you get past number 6 and you get 7, 8, 9, and we're just, it's kind of a giveaway. It feels like some balance in that order this year.
You're right. Yeah, there's not really a real weak spot up now.
Right. We didn't hit the home runs like Southeast Louisiana did this weekend, but we did we hit 6, I think. I get 6?
6 is correct.
5 different guys, and then Bull Mizell hit 2. Torres hit 1. Brian hit 1. Just smoked that one to the into our bullpen. Norton got the first one of the year. Staten hit one up into or over the scoreboard. So a little more pop. I mean, it's not. It's not, you don't have, like, again, I'd say the same thing. You don't have Caglianone or Tommy Tanks in the middle of your order, but, you might have a bunch of 15 home run guys, 12, 13, 15 type guys, hopefully. Enough power here to compete in the SEC, you think, Drew?
I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if we're in the top half of the league with home runs. I think I saw someone on Twitter said that 4 guys are going to hit 25 this year, maybe.
Yeah, that was
Staten, Hodo, Torres, and maybe LeBron. So I just don't see that happening. But I think we'll hit enough. We're going to I kind of feel like we're going to hit more doubles and run a lot. But I think we're going to get enough of those clutch 3-run home runs. So, how many guys could hit double figures? Torres, LeBron, maybe Mizell if he plays every year. Neil hit 9 last year in part-time action. Staten is a guy who could. Norton to be determined. He struck out 3 times, I think, on Friday. So, but he bounced back on Sunday and had a pretty good day at the plate. So, we may have 4 guys who hit double figures. It may be closer to 10 than 20, but I think we'll hold our own. But I don't think we'll be like Tennessee hitting
I
balls.
mean, if
in
we get
the-
115 homers this year, we may as well go ahead and book our trips to Omaha.
Yeah.
With our pitching
I'd
staff.
love to be there. I don't. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe I just missed it in our group chat. I mean, I think we'll probably. My guess would be like maybe 98, 99 homers. I think we'll be
Maybe.
right there this year. I'd like to think that we're going to be closer to 100 than
Yep.
closer to 80. So
Yeah, if we could do that, we could, with the pitching and the speed as our strengths, if you can pull that off, I feel pretty good about this team.
Drew, I told that guy that said that about 4 guys hitting 25 home runs. I said there's been 3 guys in the history of Alabama baseball that have hit 25 in a season, and
even with the bats, right?
even with the bat, and most of those were. Well, I guess there's 4 because Kobe shot. I might have left Kobe out, but 3 of them with hot bats.
Mm-hmm.
Mathis, Duke, Dusty, the guy we won't mention, and then Kobe Shelton, and then. But then he came back and said, "Oh, I didn't mean all of them would hit 25. Like, all of them. Those 4 are capable. One of them, one of the 4 might hit 25.
That's a lot of. I mean, you're asking for a home run every 2 games,
right?
Every 7, 8 at bats. I mean,
Kobe had that little 2-game stretch where he hit 7, or 3-game stretch where he had 8. I think it was, and but anyway.
Yeah. So getting into the midweek here, this is one of this may be the only week we had 2 midweeks. Maybe we got one other week later in the year. I think we do, because we played Jacksonville and Troy on back-to-back nights later in the year. But this is usually the way we do this. Kind of stack some of these early. Middle Tennessee, 4 p.m. tomorrow. 4 p.m. Wednesday, Alabama State, and it's going to be very cold that day. So hopefully some people can get out there. Both of these are SEC Network Plus games. We've got Middle Tennessee's coming off a 1-2 weekend. They played Bowling Green. They beat them 18-0 the first day, and then managed to lose to them twice in a row. So it's kind of like they kind of were all in on game 1. So the interesting approach to the weekend by Bowling Green. And then Alabama State played a 4-game series with Southern Indiana, and won 1 of the 4 down in Montgomery. So, again, a good, probably good chance to tune up. We mentioned JT Blackwood's going to get the start tomorrow. He's a JUCO guy, came in from Wallace Hansville, right?
Hansville. Yes.
Yep.
And Haleyville, teammates with the other 3 boys.
That's right. That's right. What do you think we'll see? I mean, obviously, he's going to get 2-3 innings or whatever. You expect just a big a committee of pitchers the next 2 days?
I would think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blackwood's really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's impressive. He's going to throw strikes and throw low 90s, and give you a chance. He's definitely going to give us a chance. I mean, obviously we should win this game, but I mean, I say give you a chance, but he's going to keep them held down and let the offense do its work.
With Wednesday, do you think it just becomes kind of everybody take an inning type deal? Is there any clear cut guy you might see go through 3 innings?
With Tyler Fay battling for that Sunday spot earlier, along with Blackwood, you'd think that, but he's kind of a guy you want on the, you want him available with those 3 guys.
Yeah. You want him twice on the weekend, probably more than you need him against Alabama State.
Right. Bo Bryan's name's been mentioned. Anthony Pesci. Was mentioned earlier before the season started, and it'd be nice, I think, to send Anthony out there for 2 or 3 innings. But I think we'll get by committee. I mean, we need 18 innings. We could throw 18 guys 1 inning.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, but
that's their bullpen. And that'd be their bullpen.
Right.
Do we get
to what's our travel roster for the weekend here? Did we get to take the full squad?
Yes.
We do. Okay.
All right. Limits last year. I'd be surprised if we had any this year.
Technically, we can.
Okay.
And because everybody will be once SEC comes, you got to go down to 27 eligible.
27 still. Okay.
And we always carried everybody.
Yeah. In case
I mean, there's nothing you could do. You have to turn in the roster.
Right.
Like at State, we had guys that could have played.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But they don't necessarily know that they're not eligible. I mean, I don't know how that goes, if they even know they're eligible or not.
Yeah.
When they get
a weekend like this, you could take them. You can play that. You throw the whole squad. So I mean,
Right,
you're
right.
you're not worried about a guy going 3 innings on Wednesday and not being available all weekend because he can come back Sunday probably. Right.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So for the way again, these are SEC Network Plus games of the weekend. Coastal Carolina Friday, North Carolina State, who we've mentioned. I mean, has been kind of a fixture in the regionals and been in a super. I guess got to the hell would have won the national championship in 21, right?
Yeah, without for COVID, and they're
Yeah. And then so the games are going to be Coastal Friday at 5. I'm giving Central times here. They'll be in the Eastern time zone, but
Okay.
Friday 5 Central. NC State Saturday 3 Central. They're ranked 12, 13, depending on where you look. Ohio State Sunday at 10 a.m. These games are going to be streamed on D1 Baseball, so everybody's going to need to get a subscription to D1 Baseball for the weekend, and it's worth it. I mean, we all delve into it pretty deeply during the season. A good good writing and a lot of extras that you get from that subscription. Again, we nobody's dove into these teams after a 3-game weekend. You just know them by name, and you know NC State's going to be good. You know Coastal's going to be good. You don't know what you're getting in Ohio State, but a good chance to see kind of where you stand against some of the a little better competition, right, Megan?
Definitely. I will say the Shots are 4-0 because they had a game today at like
Yep.
2 p.m. in the afternoon. And are averaging about 9 runs a game, but they didn't really play anybody this past weekend.
Yeah.
And then their game.
Anyway, that's Kansas State, man. That's Rob's old school. I'm just kidding.
They didn't play anybody.
They played Kansas State?
Yeah, they played
Yeah.
him twice. That's from what I
Kansas State,
Yeah.
St. Joe, and I don't remember who they.
Yeah.
Were they in? Where is it all at Myrtle Beach, or were they off somewhere?
I mean,
It
awesome.
was about 5 minutes from my office,
Oh,
so they were
God.
on campus.
Okay.
Okay.
St. Joe's, yeah, Kansas State and Washington.
And
But
Washington. Okay.
I like that. I like the way the games are falling though.
Mhm.
So you have Zane against Coastal and Riley
Yeah. Against
NC
State.
and
Yeah,
then
me too.
like if we'd have played Ohio State first, that would have kind of,
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
that would have messed up your matchups.
Yeah.
and then I do see they play again. They play College of Charleston on Wednesday. So
Tuesday
Yeah,
got moved up for weather.
oh, there you go. I'm not clearly
Okay.
paying attention. So
Okay. All right. All right. So let's do this. We sent out the bat signal earlier this afternoon. Ask us anything, and got a lot of good responses
Oh yeah.
from our thousands of fans, mostly parents. But so let's get to those, and we do have some good questions and the things that we can kind of delve into. Let me find them real quick because I'm going to read them exactly. All right, here we go. Andy Shaw, a good big Bama baseball fan. A lot of interaction with Andy on Twitter. Any updates on the guys on the pitching staff we didn't see this weekend, and if we should expect to see them maybe this week? I know some of our arms who are on the printed roster may be hurt or maybe redshirting. So here's kind of a summary. 19 guys through this weekend. We know Moses kind of coming back was a little bit, had a little injury of some sort. Maybe through last week in one of our scrimmages on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
he threw Tuesday and live stuff.
Ashton Austin was up in the bullpen. It's hard to see the bullpen from where we sit, but I could hear the press box announce it. And so late in the game, and maybe the 7th or 8th inning yesterday, he was up in the pen. So there's 21 guys. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 other guys who probably listed on the roster as pitchers. Several probably redshirting. We expect. I don't know of any of these guys necessarily injured. But any thoughts on this? Or there, I'm assuming Moses and Austin are playing on, and most of these other guys are just around, but maybe going to hold out. Room for another 2, we think.
Yeah, catch it. They really like to catch them in the fall. Jack Ketchum. I don't know if any didn't. I didn't notice if he was there and dressed or not, but I never did hear his name. But I did hear him say Austin.
Yeah.
And Moses, I think they're really the only 3
about it. Yeah,
that didn't go that were dressed.
Right. So your roster limit's 40. Do we think Luke Vaughn counts against it, or is medical
No,
red
no,
shirt?
he's red
Yeah.
shirt, so he
Okay.
does.
Right.
And it could be medical, whatever you want to call it. He's red
Yeah.
shirt, whether it's
Right.
medical
So if
or
you've got
otherwise.
40, you've got 17 position players, of which 16 played this weekend. Duff did not. Then you probably got room to carry 23 pitchers. So two of the guys, Stevens, Heinz, Mitchell, Ketchum, Hunter,
Um,
Cuny. Did I say his name right? Cuny.
yeah. No, Cooney hasn't thrown at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Layman's been hurt, and he
Lehman Smith.
just
Yeah.
and
Wagner.
I talked to his dad. He was throwing a bullpen
Mhm.
or started throwing this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of those names you mentioned have not been weren't dressed.
Yeah.
Let's put
Okay.
it that way.
So I mean, all that to say, Andy, I think we can kind of narrow it down. We maybe think Ketchum's, probably one of the two. There's probably room for about two more of the guys you didn't see, plus Mosen and Austin, who we know are on the staff. And again, we mentioned the position guys were a little light on position guys, but I mean, like we said before, feels like we got the versatility that some of these guys can kind of count as two, because they can DH, or they can play third, or they can play first, or a catcher that can play second, or the outfield. So that I think we feel pretty good about that. You don't want anyone injured, but I mean, I think if you hate to even say it, if you can afford an injury, it's maybe on your pitching staff, it'd be a lot more impactful on your position guys. All right. Here's a good one. Let me find it. Let me read it in a second. Okay, Haas Flowers. Another big Bama baseball fan, interacts a lot with me on here. About Will Hodo. He said Hodo played both in the field and as DH this weekend. I'm trying to remember. I guess he probably played first base 2 games.
Yes.
Maybe DH once. It seems like an adverse relationship where he killed it at the plate when he wasn't in the field and didn't have great days on Friday and Sunday, which would have been where he was in the field, but looked like a lot of improvement in the field from last year. Any thoughts? Drew, you got thoughts on his defensive?
I think he DH'd Friday and then played the field Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, yes.
So
correct, yeah.
He did make one, what I thought was a pretty impressive pick at first.
I did too.
Sunday. I don't think he's quite to Torres' level defensively at first, but I do think he's a very capable first baseman in the
exactly.
Played it all last year. So, just hope he can get to where he I don't know about an adverse relationship. It's kind of, but yeah, improvement in the field, I think for sure. Hopefully this week he bounces back. He's going to stay in the lineup until he just proves he can't hit. But he did hit last year. Hopefully we'll get double-digit home runs out of him like we did last year. Is he a 3-hitter? I'm not sure about that, but he is a hitter in this lineup. I think in most every game this season.
Yeah. So you're right. He made a really nice kind of a sideswipe scoop on a ball in the dirt. He had a hard ball hit at him. He kept in front of him.
Good athlete. He's a lot more athletic than he was. It seemed like.
Yeah, a lot of 3-1 put outs where I saw a lot last year where he would kind of chase that ball into the second base hole and cause us a little. But it looks like to me he's kind of adjusted that. I saw that in the scrimmage, I guess, the weekend before, that he laid off one and second.
Yeah, you mentioned it at the time.
Yeah.
He was gone for that one last year. Yeah.
And so I think he definitely seen some progress over there. And like you mentioned, you got Torres over there who can play it as well. All right, here's the thing about Hodo. I'm gonna go chum on you here a little bit. Here's his Friday. In 5 at bats, he saw 8 pitches, 6 pitches, 5 pitches, 4 pitches, 3 pitches. He saw 26 pitches. He went over 3. He got on base twice though because he got hit twice. So he's working pitch counts. And then same on the weekend. He drew a couple of walks on Saturday. Got hit by pitch on Saturday, and he had a couple of hits. So like he said, Saturday a bigger day for him. Rough day on Sunday, but he did manage to get a base hit. But I think when you think about that, especially when you get into, as we talked about, when you start getting into weekends and teams that got rosters narrowed down, or you get the conference, and you can get out there and see 27 pitches in 26, 27 pitches at 5 at bats. I think that's good. Anytime you drag out an at bat, 8, 9 pitches, I think that's good. So But yeah, definitely seen improvement from him with the glove. Here's a very simple question that may be a little more of a complex answer. This is from at Jordan is Boren. I don't know who Jordan is. Why is Justin LeBron so good? Megan, you want to take that one? Why is he so good?
I mean, he's the franchise for a reason. That's a simple answer.
Right.
The chosen one.
Griff, your thoughts? Yeah, well, I mean, LeBron. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about him. Why is he so good?
I mean, I think I think to a lot of people, he just appears like a unicorn. Guy that got drafted, picked up really, really late, wasn't really talked about, came bursting on the scene last year. He's small. I mean, Roger was the first guy that I think we all heard from. And, in the fall, he said, keep an eye on this kid. And then all of a sudden, the next text, a few weeks later was, holy crap, this kid grew like 4 inches. He put down weight. And then all of a sudden, he sees him in, January. Come when they came to Frisco last year, when I saw him at least in person. Hopefully, I'll be in A&M this year to see him in person. But I mean, he's a guy that just is absolutely the total package. I mean, I know some people would like to say there's a kid out of I won't mention his name at Georgia Tech who they think he could be, pick one. I mean, I think that LeBron is obviously definitely that conversation.
Drew A-Rod was a kind of a tall, lanky guy when he first got to Miami. Right? I mean, you see what happens when a man goes from about 19, 20 years old to 27, 28. Now, some of his was, chemically enhanced, but, thoughts on you're a player comparison guy.
Yeah, I think A-Rod was a couple inches taller than Justin LeBron. Okay. So, Alan Dunn compared him to Carlos Correa, and Carlos Correa went 1-1 several years ago. So who knows? But, the thing is, we are, with a truly elite high. I mean, I know Hess was picked in the first round last year, but position players in the first round, gosh, I don't even know when the last one was. I'm sure it was 5 years ago. And I just don't think about it. But
it was Kansas City, Joe Vitello.
So that was 91.
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah, we're it's a special player, and we really can't waste we can't waste his years with us. We need to make a regional this year and next year. I mean, it's a lot to ask to win a championship, but, making regional, and I think next year, you're going to kind of see guys. I think we may pick up an impact guy or two that wants to transfer so they can play with Justin LeBron. So, he's a special player, and we really need to appreciate the time we've got with him. Which,
and I'm saying too, on the flip side of that, I mean, we are in the transfer portal era. I mean, there was
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there were guys last year that were being tabbed left and right. I mean, we had guys that left, as every program does, but there were plenty of talk that says, "Oh, LeBron's going to be going somewhere. He's not going to stay," and he did.
Mostly Alabama fans.
That's right, exactly.
And I said that all along he was not going anywhere.
Right, exactly. So,
and Megan can attest to this. From the day one, I was calling him Baby A-Rod.
Yeah.
First time I saw him. I mean, he just looked like him, and his baseball smarts and instincts are off the chart.
Exactly.
I mean, he's, Paul, you can see the little things. He's directing people. He knows exactly, like, in the middle of the right was the pitcher was getting in his stretch the other day. He's like, step off.
Yeah.
He saw something with a base runner.
I think it was that Austin? I think it was Austin.
Yeah. And I still talk about that play this fall on the ball hitting the corner. Runner on first. JYJ hit one in the right field corner. Brian's flying over to cover the bag. Fowler Brady Nils makes a strong throw. Brian jumps up high at, like a good. He's got a vertical, not like he jumps up, catches the ball, whirls in midair, and throws a strike to first base and gets JYJ off the bag as he rounds the bag. And then like the same inning, there's a base hit in left field. He takes the relay and he throws 100 miles an hour to the plate and guns the guy down. It's just like it's a baseball player.
Yeah. Not to my own horn here, but I was real proud of this tweet in the game recap Friday. This was my thought on LeBron. Rob Vaughn was Tarantino putting this cast together. and
Yes.
Justin LeBron is clearly Vincent. So he's Travolta in Pulp Fiction. You got a multi-act play. Travolta was involved in all of them, except the one after he got killed.
Spoiler alert.
Involved in every act of the movie. The supporting cast around him of Jules, I just said that was Richie. Butch, that's the Bruce Willis character. That's Norton. Winston Wolfe is the Harvey Keitel character. That's Fowler. Make this thing click. Lots of solid complimentary guys on this roster. Bronny won't drive in 5 runs every night, but his WAR, W-A-R, the statistic is going to be top 10 in the country if they actually track that in college. He's the franchise, as some have dubbed him. I thought that was just out of my thought. Just you could just feel that game one, against Bradley. I mean, even you just feel it, kind of feel it coming on there. All right, so next question. This one was from, I want to read it exactly. Oh, it was John Young Sr. asking Roger, are you going to continue to wear the Pinkney Nationals cap until we lose? So the answer obviously is yes, until we lose. But why don't you review the policy for everyone so they'll understand the
well,
tweet.
and it's somewhat changed this year. And I picked Pinkney. I picked the Nationals, well, because of Pink, but he also got an invite to Major League Spring Training.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's
awesome.
He's close. But my shtick is that a hat of an Alabama player that's on a certain major league team.
Mm-hmm.
At times I've had 6 to 7 hats because we had a lot of guys up there.
Had a lot, yeah.
I mean, I've got a collection of everybody's because of LeBlanc and Tommy Hunter and Avila. They played for everybody, just about. So I mean, I think I've got 28 out of 30 hats. The Braves are like the one I don't have because they don't take Alabama players.
They hate the Tide, apparently.
Yeah, they hate the Tide. Although I thought Tommy Burrows might make it with them, but so I'll pick a hat of a player, and up until a year ago, it was always I started with whoever Tommy Hunter was playing for, and then he retired on me, and Avila retired, and Wade retired, and Avila retired. I mean, it's just like
one after another.
Dropping off. Jimmy Nelson retired.
Yeah.
So
we got a couple of guys that are just free agents still.
And
right?
so this year, D-Rob hasn't signed with anybody.
Yeah.
Turnbull hasn't signed with anybody. Matt Foster hasn't signed with anybody. So I told when Meghan asked me, I was like, I'm just gonna have to go minor league. So I'll go with the Nationals and Pink until he loses. And I guess I'll either go Royals with
KC,
Tyler, since Tyler made it up last year, Tyler and Peyton Wilson. And then I got the Tigers with Chase Lee, the Real Deal, and Jim Jarvis. So,
yep. You've got the Red Sox with Caden Rhodes.
Right. And I've got a Red Sox hat, and then there's others. Pirates. Yeah. We have GMAC and the ever quiz. Anyway, Furtado. I'm trying to remember the Furtado experience.
The Furtado experience.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what Meghan called it.
You could pull back out the Yankees because Ben Hess is in that organization.
That's right. I got the Yankees again, and
you've got you got Alabama sophomore Bryce Eldridge and the San Francisco Giants.
I do have the Giants hat. So we could do that. So anyway, and less than until our guys sign some major league deals and get up there, this is what I'm gonna have to do.
Yep. All right, so that's the story behind that. So y'all keep your eyes on that. Tyler Wilcox, another Johnny MySpace at Johnny MySpace, always has good questions and big follower of the program. Is there a special wine somewhere in the vault being saved for when Justin LeBron breaks the Meghan season average record? All right, are we going to rename the Home Plate Club the 625 Club?
I would at this point. I would love to see him hit 400 because we hadn't had any. I mean, Dugas was 400 until the Super Regional in 2010, and ended up at 395.
Yeah,
so it's been a while. Like maybe Stoddard Drew, is that the last one?
I feel like he had like 411 or something.
Yeah, he did. He had over 400.
Okay. 2002, and then we never saw him wear the Tide uniform again.
Yeah, he had
a few drug tests.
He had a few issues.
Violated university policy.
Yeah,
that was my big break. That was the first story I ever broke as a journo. Stoddard getting kicked off the team.
Liberal journo.
So you were a narc?
Well, I'll tell the story, and because we're running late anyway. But I had a player's brother who was my source. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm really not going to say who it was. But he I think he posted on like Tide Fans or something, which I used to frequent about to hear some news. So I messaged the guy, and I was not feeling very well. It was my junior year of that fall, and so he tells me what happened. It was Stannard and a guy named Chad White who came back the next year. And I'm like, I walk in and I see Brent Boyd, who was a coach last year, who was a player, then a student coach, and he kind of starts laughing at me. He knew I was there because they were done with fall practice, but still doing workouts, I think. And so, I start seeing adults, and they're like, I think Danny Watkins was a coach. He said, "Man, I'd tell you anything, but I can't go on the record with this one." And so I go stand by Wells' locker room because I talked to him so many times before in there. And door open, keeps open, and he never sees me. Someone tries to tell me he's gone out to right field. I didn't really think that was accurate. So there was one other coach that I was going to wait on to tell me nothing. And next thing you know, the door opens and a hand sticks out. And it's telling me to come in. I can't really do it justice here, but imagine a door and like just one hand. All you see is an arm and a finger with one telling you to come in. And Wells
like
was there. Yeah, I'd cornered him. He couldn't get out. There was no other way to get out. And so he told me, he gave me the scoop because I had covered a lot of Bama baseball during like the non-conference before all the other big time journos would come after basketball, which now barely anybody covers it. A few of them do, but it's not quite what it was. So we put a little story on the top above the fold on the CW, and it is what it is. I'd see Chad White a couple times the year after that. I don't think anybody was ever mad at me or anything. I mean, they probably didn't really matter. I mean, there was nothing factually wrong about it. It was disappointing because we could have been really good that next year with those guys.
So
Ryan Phillips, he's at most of the games for the Patch. He's writing. We got Will Miller. He's writing. So
got Nick. What's the guy's name? Nick Elliott.
Yeah. And Simon.
Simon.
What's that guy?
Yeah.
He seems really locked in.
Yeah. So shout out to the guys who are covering.
He's the one that he dropped the franchise tweet, which
right.
We appreciate,
and
because we want this to stick.
Will Miller kid, I like the Will Miller kid. He's really.
I think they're all. It's good to see. Good to see a little bit of social media traffic being ginned up for the guys and all.
Speaking of that, I think Nick, the new SID, is doing a great job with the social media for all Instagram, all of it, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook with the videos and he's done some really cool stuff.
Let's get those lineups posted earlier, Nick. I'm used to seeing it 90 minutes before first pitch. So if you've made it to the end of this, let's get those graphics and stat broadcast lineups posted.
So
sooner.
I think the answer to Tyler's question is none of us are wine snobs, so we don't really know what wine to break out. We could rename the Home Plate Club after Bronny's average, but I think we've already reserved Drew Williamson's 2103 for the 2103 putouts, which is the Alabama record, in which we erroneously called the SEC record until it actually wasn't. One other question he had.
Fake news.
Yeah. What was his second? Oh, here it is. Who will end the season with the longest home run? There's probably three candidates here. Let's just simplify. Torres, Bull, or Staten. Who's going to hit the longest bomb this year?
I think Norton's got a chance.
Norton.
You think Norton? Okay. All right.
Put a poll question on the Weekly Joe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. All right.
And I hate it can only be 4 because then you could say or someone else. I mean, it could be Braun went 400 or 404?
404. Yes. Yeah.
But those 4 that mentioned, I think, would be the candidates.
Staten, I'm sorry, Torres, to me, just based on how I saw him crush that ball to dead center. Usually the dead center is the long, the further hit ball. Sometimes I just wonder if that he might be it. But we'll put it out there as a question.
And then maybe who's going to have the most on the season?
Could be much. Yeah. We'll do that. Last question of the night, and then we'll close this out. from Robert at R Vaughn Sharpie, our another big follower and got to interact with a lot. How do I submit my application as a guest host? Which one of y'all handles a guest?
Doesn't TBE handle that?
Yeah. Robert. So what you need to do is get in touch with our executive producer, Token Barner Evelyn. Just DM me. I'll get it to her. She's not on Twitter, but she books all our guests, which probably explains why we've only had one guest. But we'd be glad to have you on as a host sometime. And just in the meantime, I'll get the Sharpie and get Rob Sharpie. I got to take my glasses off to it.
But you got to put your hat down.
And I got to have the flat bill. I got in the right left ear. Is that where he does it? Is his left ear?
No, it's facing us, isn't it? Isn't it when he's
so it's the right ear, we think?
It's the right ear.
Yeah. Okay, all right. It's the right ear. A little bit.
But or like JJ sticks it like this. JJ's is like that.
Yeah.
And then Rob's is
hey, Rob, if Sharpie, if you'll come on, you have to wear the Sharpie. And the night you come on, I will wear the eye black cross like Justin LeBron on that podcast that night. So we'll book
we have
it.
An update to share with our 1,000 viewers, Roger, about Jeffrey Bramlett's next move.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Following Birmingham Southern.
Yeah. Yes, he's at is it Georgia Southern? Is pitching
Georgia Southern.
Georgia as on the staff. Anyways, I don't know. Sure did he get pitching coach? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Is it Georgia Southern or
is it Valdosta? Or was
Valdosta State?
Valdosta. Yeah.
Valdosta State.
There's so many schools over there. I get them all mixed up. My bad, Valdosta.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we were talking about the Lions and their 14 home runs. That's a Bama laden staff with Bobby Barbier as the head coach. Taylor Dugas, the recruiting coordinator and assistant head coach, and then Evan Bush is the hitting coach. So that's
Bill Bama.
And Paul, are we going? Well, I know we're running late on time. We're talking about some of the transfers, what they did.
Yeah, we did see. We kind of tried a few other night. Antoine John got a win yesterday in relief for Houston. Actually got rocked a little bit on Friday in one inning, and then came back yesterday. Struck out two guys. Got the all important pitcher win for Houston. Jackson Baker got a start for Southern Cal yesterday. Got three plus innings out of him. They actually swept their series. Can't remember who they were playing over the weekend. AD got a win in Georgia.
7 strikeouts and 3 1/3, I think.
Yeah,
with one run.
Yeah, strong outing for AD. Slip had I saw he had a 1 for 4 day yesterday. Drove in a run on one I think it was Saturday for UAB. They took 2 out of 3 over the weekend in the event they were playing in. Help me out. I was just trying to remember who else that we looked up.
Well, Evan Hager, Parker Pico started for Michigan State. I saw 2 games. I looked at 2 box scores. I think he had a walk and a run in one of them, but I didn't check the all of it. Let's see.
I saw Hager get into a game late in that Houston game yesterday.
Hunter Sudi started 3 games for Manhattan over at State. I didn't see him with a hit, but I saw him on base a couple of times. He made 2 or 3 times. He always walked a lot. So
yeah. But we'll keep up with those guys. We got a lot of guys out there all around the country now. Of course, we got I didn't see what Florida State did this weekend, but of course we're used to Williams and Jackson, being down there. But
didn't check on Brock Blatter either. Out at he at Wazoo now?
He's at Wazoo now. Yeah, three
college at 3 schools in 3 years. So
so welcome to college baseball 2025, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, good. Folks, we enjoyed it. Roger, you're heading down, I think. I think you're probably the only one going to be down in the
Kent and I are traveling together. So
all right, good deal. We'll pull us through again. 2 games midweek this week, 4:00 tomorrow against Middle Tennessee. This Tuesday, we're taping this Monday night. Wednesday against Alabama State, and then you've got the Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of round robin deal. Coastal Carolina Friday, NC State Saturday, Ohio State Sunday, all streamed on D1 Baseball. So get your subscription. Join us next week. We'll tweet out, let you know when we're recording. We'll rack this up as quickly as we can. And Peter Slight and Campland will take us away with the theme song.
All right.
And we will see you on the next episode of the Weekly Joe. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Well, it's Bama Blitz.